Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into how data actually starts its journey, how it gets from out there in the wild into a modern data warehouse where you can actually use it.
Every bit of data you have is on a journey. Its whole purpose is to end up somewhere it can provide some kind of value. But none of that can happen without that critical first step, ingestion. So, how do we get data from all its different sources into a system where the real analysis can begin?
But before we even talk about how data gets in, let's ask a better question. Where is it even going? Because the destination isn't just one giant database. A modern data warehouse is actually a really structured system with different layers of curation, and each layer has a very specific job.
Yeah, so data usually moves through three main stages. First up is the raw layer. This is where data lands exactly as it came from the source system, no changes. And this layer should be immutable, meaning you never ever update or delete anything. Why? So you always have a perfect original copy to go back to. From there, it moves to the clean layer, where we start standardizing things, filtering out bad data, and just generally tidying it up. And finally, it hits the transformed layer. This is where the real business logic gets applied, and the data is integrated and shaped for analysis. Okay, so with that structure in mind, let's look at how we get data into that first raw layer.
So, what's the most traditional way to populate these layers? Well, that would be batch ingestion. This is the absolute workhorse of data warehousing. It's been around for decades for a very good reason.
Just imagine collecting all of the day's data, maybe from your sales system, bundling it all up into one big package, and then processing it on a fixed schedule, like say, every single night at midnight. That right there is the heart of batch ingestion. It's predictable, it's robust, but this classic method comes with some pretty serious trade-offs.
And here's the fundamental trade-off, right? On one hand, batch is incredibly stable. Your business users know exactly when to expect fresh data. Developers even get what's called an anti-window. That's time when the system is quiet so they can safely deploy updates without breaking anything. But the downside? Well, it's huge. Your data is never real-time, you're always looking at yesterday's picture, and the whole thing depends on a single, fragile processing window.
This brings us to the famous ETL window. That set period of time, usually in the middle of the night, when all these heavy data jobs are allowed to run. And while it gives you predictability, it's also a really high-stakes game. If any single job runs too long, or if just one source file arrives late, the entire data load for that day could completely fail. Okay, so batch makes total sense for things like nightly reports. But what if I need to react to something right now? What if a new sales file arrives at 10 a.m. and I need to get it into the system immediately, not 12 hours from now?
The answer to that is event-based ingestion. In this model, instead of a clock telling us when to run, the system is just listening. It's waiting for a trigger, like a new file appearing in a storage bucket. The second that event happens, the process kicks off. It's a really fundamental shift from being scheduled to being reactive.
Now, the benefit here is pretty obvious. You get much fresher, near real-time data. But the challenge is a big jump in complexity. Your platform now has to be always on, ready to process data at any given moment. And what happens if the system goes down for a bit? Those events can start piling up in a queue. And maybe most importantly, you need a way to figure out dependencies. How does the system know when all the right files have arrived to build that final analytics table? It's a puzzle it has to solve. This whole approach is built on a really powerful idea called decoupled processing. And this is a huge shift in thinking. See, in the old batch world, one bad file could cause the entire job to fail. But here, each dataset is processed on its own. If file A succeeds but file B has an error, file A still moves on into the warehouse. The pipeline never comes to a complete halt.
Okay, so event-based is super fast for individual files. But what about a truly continuous, never-ending flow of data? I'm talking about data from IoT sensors or website click streams or financial market data. This isn't a file that arrives once in a while. It's a constant river of information.
For that kind of data, we need stream ingestion. In this mode, we completely stop thinking about data in terms of files or batches. Data is just an unbounded flow, a continuous stream of tiny records that are processed in motion, as they happen.
This unlocks true, real-time analytics. But the challenges are just fundamentally different. You can't just pause the river of data to clean it or join it to a big historical table. All of your transformations have to happen on the fly as the data is flowing through the system. And those distinct raw, clean, and transformed layers we talked about earlier, they don't really apply in the same way because the data almost never comes to a rest.
So it kind of sounds like we have to make a choice, right? Do we want the comprehensive accuracy that we get from batch processing, or do we want the immediate speed of stream processing? In the real world, we often need both. So, is there a way to get the best of both worlds?
Well, yes there is, and that is the core idea behind a design pattern called the Lambda Architecture. It's a really smart hybrid approach that basically says you don't have to choose between speed and accuracy. You can have both.
Here's how it works. It runs two data processing paths in parallel. All of your incoming data gets sent to both a batch layer and a speed layer. The batch layer runs on its schedule, reprocessing everything to create a super comprehensive, highly accurate historical record. At the exact same time, the speed layer processes that data in real time to give you immediate, up-to-the-second insights.
So when a user runs a query, what they get is a single, unified view. It seamlessly combines the rock-solid, complete data from the last batch run with the absolute latest updates from that real-time speed layer. It's a pretty elegant way to handle both historical accuracy and what's happening right this second, all in one system.
So as you think about your own data, the real question isn't just which one is fastest, it's about understanding the trade-offs. If you need perfect accuracy and you can wait a day, batch is your friend. If you need data within minutes of a file showing up, that's a job for event-based ingestion. And if you need to reflect the world second by second, you're in the world of streaming. But the reality is, most modern systems use a smart mix of all three.
Thanks for watching. If this helped clear up how data can start its journey, help us create more of these explainers by liking, sharing, and subscribing. We'll see you next time.